Hello? Hello? I'm scared.
Maybe it's a dog. There's dogs here.
What if it's like a bear or something that could hurt us? Do they have those here?
Oh yeah, and moose and tigers and... Oh my gosh.
What is it?
He's so cute. I'm sorry we were afraid of you, bud. We thought you were a bear.
Look at his face.
Whoa, look at his back. He has like little scales.
You want some stir fry? Good morning. I just woke up. We're on the ranch right now. Look at that face. We're going rock climbing today, and I've never been like actual outdoor rock climbing before, so I'm kind of terrified. Jessa is like a rock climbing instructor, so she probably knows what she's doing, so I think I can trust her. Today, in the spirit of me overcoming something that I was previously afraid of, I want to talk about fear and why leaving your comfort zone is so important. I'm going to tell you a little story about my life and how I went from a terrified little girl to the person I am now.
He's like, no.
If you told me as a kid that I'd grow up and be traveling all over the place, making a living on YouTube and having friends all over the world, I would have just stared at you confused and said nothing. Growing up with severe social anxiety, the thought of even leaving my house or talking to anyone besides my mom was absolutely terrifying. Around the age of 4, I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder called selective mutism. Selective mutism meant that I was completely silent around everyone, with the exception of like 2 or 3 people. If a teacher at school asked me a question, I'd just stand there like a deer in headlights, afraid to even say a single word. In 4th grade, we moved to the town over, and my mom convinced me to slowly start talking to people because no one knew me in this new school, and no one would know that I didn't talk. That was the first time I remember diving headfirst into my fear and saying hi to a classmate at school. At the time, it felt like the scariest thing in the world, but looking back, it was kind of just the beginning. The years that followed would slowly bring me a little further out of my shell. I was still very quiet, and I didn't go out much. I didn't have many friends in middle or high school because I wasn't confident enough to hold any conversations or even make eye contact. I never really wanted to go to college, but after receiving a scholarship, my art teacher convinced me that maybe going would be a good way to learn some social skills and meet like-minded people. Throughout my 4 years in college, I kept pushing myself to talk to people and slowly learned how to communicate and make friends. Fast forward to 2017, right after I'd graduated from college, and I had a dream of moving into my car and driving across the United States. The thought of it was exciting, but at the same time so intimidating. I didn't know much about the world beyond the little bits that I'd experienced in Massachusetts, but I knew if I could do this, I could do anything. I put it off for months out of fear of the unknown, until one week I set a date and I decided I would leave on Friday. I wrote it down and I promised myself that I'd do it. I packed up all my stuff into my little Honda Element and I started driving. As I was crossing the country for the first time, I had the realization that it wasn't nearly as scary as I had made it out to be in my head. It gave me, I guess, a new sense of confidence. I did something that I thought was the scariest thing in the world, and I was fine. I think a lot of us fear what we don't understand, but the only way to understand something fully is to just live it and feel it. Most of what we're afraid of is not as scary as it seems. And since that first trip across the country, I've explored over a dozen other countries, and I've made more friends than I can count. Everything I've experienced since then has been a major catalyst for my growth, and it's made me the person that I am today. Had I not stepped out of my comfort zone the first time, I'd still be hiding inside somewhere with very little life experience and full of fear. But now I'm at the point where very little scares me. I thought I was too scared to rock climb, but I did it anyways, and I wound up loving it. Every day I try to step out of my comfort zone and feel something, and every day I can say I've grown a little more because of it. And to anyone out there afraid to leave their comfort zone, all I can say is just do it. You'll be so proud of yourself that you did. Jessa also lives in a van, but it's a little bit different than mine. It looks like this. Would you like to give us a quick tour?
Sure. So this is Marley. She's a 1998 GMC Safari. This is my bed. That's pretty much the whole van. Underneath the bed, I keep like climbing gear and stuff like that, and then like cookware back behind there. I have this little pull-out drawer.
Ooh, that's awesome.
With stuff. And then this is my stove back here.
That's so cute.
And all my cooking stuff.
Did you build this yourself?
I did. Built it myself.
I like this, the little rock climbing things.
Thank you. I thought that'd be fun. And then I have like a little table under here. It slid up to the front, but I put it like on top of these, and then I can cook and stuff back here.
Ooh, that's awesome.
That's the whole tour. That's it.
The fear is simply because you're not living with life, you're living in your mind. Your fear is always about what's going to happen next. That means your fear is always about that which does not exist. If your fear is about the non-existent, your fear is 100% imaginary. If you're suffering the non-existential, we call that insanity. So, people may be in just socially accepted levels of insanity, but if you're afraid or if you're suffering anything which does not exist, it amounts to insanity, isn't it?
We finally found the penguins.
People are always suffering, either what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow. So your suffering is always about that which does not exist, simply because you're not rooted in reality. You're always rooted in your mind. Mind is… one part of it is memory, another part of it is imagination. Both of them are in one way imagination, because both of them don't exist right now. You're lost in your imagination, that's the basis of your fear. If you were rooted in reality, there would be no fear.
We're doing a ghost tour now.
I am 10 out of 10 scared.
She's very afraid of ghosts. I don't know if I believe in them yet, so maybe this night will convince me.
If I move really fast, there's definitely a ghost in here.
During the castle's tenure, there have been over 80 deaths that have occurred here. Let me see here, what's your name?
Steffi?
Steffi?
Mm-hmm.
And yours?
Abby.
Abby? Ladies, how brave are you feeling? Scale of 1 to 10?
I'm fine. I don't believe in ghosts yet.
We're gonna all go into the tunnel. And when we all get situated here, I'm gonna ask you to say, Steffi, and then you, Abby, for you all to say, you know, Mr. Boots, are you with us? Mr. Boots, are you with us tonight? Can we hear your boot steps, please? Or can you tap on the pipes? Steffi, would you mind?
Mr. Boots, are you with us tonight?
Abby, how about you?
Mr. Boots, are you here?
Okay, Mr. Boots, maybe another time. One evening, I had a group down there, and that group was large enough. I stayed at the tunnel entrance. And I asked, I go, Mr. Boots, are you with us? Twice, I heard a little girl say, no. So this is for the single men who stayed during the 50th years. In the military, this is where they installed a recreational hall. Ah, and I see we have another guest with us tonight. He'll wave here in a second.
It's terrifying.
But over where Frosty is now, that's where the military had 3 pool tables at. And where I'm standing now, they had a 3-lane bowling alley. And so, you know, you might want to check the battery power now. This is where most often people...
My camera is off. That is so scary. That's never done that.
But whenever people...
It's literally off.
When people have to switch out batteries...
The viewfinder completely turned off. It's back on.
It's almost off.
Seriously.
So good. So good so far.
Now,
Damn it, no, it has never done that before. I have vlogged with this for 5 years.
if there's somebody here with us tonight, can you please cross these rods for me? But then I asked him, I go, Adam, I said, I first met you where you would have interrogated prisoners of war. I said, Adam, I don't want to know what information you had.
That was fun. I wanted to hear Mr. Boots.
I didn't know whether I wanted to hear it or not, because part of me was like, okay, that would be really cool. But at the same time, like, if I had heard that, I probably would have had a panic attack and cried. And then I would have felt like trapped in that tunnel. I'm like shaking. We didn't even see anything and I'm shaking. You were so calm. I kept looking over at you and just like, You just don't believe in it,
I feel like
right?
if you have fear, you kind of attract stuff like that. But if you're just like super chill, it doesn't bother you.
Maybe that's why Mr. Boots didn't come. You weren't scared enough.